Hanzo.
All I'm trying to say here is, I thought we were friends. At first I shot him in the face. I admit
That's your
it.
first mistake. That's your first mistake in assuming people are your friends, because they're never your friend.
I totally admit, I shot him in the face first, and then he was like, "Hey, no, let's say hello," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, hello," and then he was like, "Let's keep pressing crouch and dance." I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that," and then
See,
he's
that's
like,
also your next mistake is that you shot first. See, you were like Han Solo,
"I am Han Solo."
and we're gonna save that clip for the record.
I am. And just so you know, we are live now.
Oh, I know. You see, trust me, I know when you go live now because I've kind of got it down to a formula.
A formula, you say?
Yes.
Tell me more.
I call it Formula 1, where you kind of play along with this kind of shtick that you do, and then all of a sudden you press the live button, and then you try to make me look like a fool. And then that's how it happens. By the way, hello to everybody watching. It is going to be a very good edition of Super Reset Brothers. We got a good one for you.
I can't believe you think I try to make you look like a fool.
Well, I mean, look at the history that we've had.
Yeah, you might have a bit of a point. By the way,
A bit of a point.
By the way, I pulled that on Eric when he was over.
Oh,
and
you
it
did?
worked. Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Oh no!
No one is safe. No one is safe from my
I
shenanigans.
can't believe you pulled that on Eric, though. Of all people.
Oh, he would have done worse.
Golly. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty on this.
Let's get down to business.
Can you stop?
Maybe.
For once. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Microsoft dropped a bit of a bombshell. Was it earlier today or yesterday?
I think it was earlier today, actually.
Well, either way, it's coming at Sony really big in a big way. Because they just announced the Xbox Game Pass, where for $9.99 a month, you can either on your PC or Xbox One get a rotating catalog of downloadable games that are Xbox One exclusives or backwards compatible 360 games. And the main thing about this is that it's downloadable. It's not streaming like Sony's service offers, where it does have a little bit of a lag on that end sometimes. But some of the games that are going to be coming out for this Game Pass right away are NBA 2K16, Halo 5 Guardians, Payday 2, some games from THQ, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Sega, and all these other great companies. But the notable one that I saw was, in my opinion, the greatest game of this franchise, Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, I saw that as well and thought, sweet, at least we get a good fighting game.
Yeah, one of the great fighting games. One of
good
the
fighting game, a little
games.
sparring Sunday bait, perhaps, but yeah.
Probably.
So I thought that would be pretty cool. But the one thing though, and you did it too, so I'm confused. Everybody keeps like comparing the two, like Sony and Microsoft when it comes to this one. And the way I'm seeing it is like Sony's not even in the room at this point. Because with PlayStation Now, you have to stream. And nobody wants to play potato quality games, so nobody's using PlayStation Now. Nobody. Nobody I know. Nobody I hear from. Nobody doing anything like that. Now, the big difference is, and the real kick in the dick here, is over to EA with Origin Access. See, they don't do streaming. They allow you to download and install and play.
Right.
So does the new Xbox. Xbox... I can't even remember the name of it because I'm too busy hearing my neighbors try to kill each other.
Xbox Game Pass.
Thank you.
What it's called.
I don't have neighbors anymore. They're dead.
All right. Well,
anyway,
we just witnessed live murder on the podcast.
Hashtag actual murder. Thank you. So,
anyway,
in terms of it, EA Origin Access is the one that's really going to get kicked around by this. Simply because that was the big thing they had. You subscribe to the service, you can download and install any game you want to play it whenever you want to, and they're going to give you exclusive discounts if you want to buy the game. Well, now Xbox is doing the same, except the library that they're going to offer is going to be like 7 times as big.
Yeah, vastly larger. And the thing about that is, it's not just one like set of games and a library of those games only. It's a rotating schedule of games. And the good thing about this is Microsoft has already stated that whenever some titles are going to be dropping out of the rotation, members of the past can purchase any game or DLC for the game at a discount before they're rotated out of the service. So this is a very good deal. And contrast to what we've seen in 2013, I hate to bring up 2013 every single time because it was a kind of a shift in power basically with Don Matrick and Phil Spencer. But Phil Spencer has really, really saved the Xbox brand.
Yes, he has. Absolutely.
When the Xbox One was first announced, everybody hated it and the features that it had. And one of the main features that was, off-putting was the always-on thing, and this shift towards, a casual market and all this other nonsense. But Phil Spencer, while keeping that casual market on the back burner and always there to really present itself for profitable margins, because obviously this is a business, you want to make a profit, and the casual market has a lot of money to spend, so you always have the hardcore audience that you want to try and appease to as well, because those will always be the people that are going to go out of their way and buy games first, is that hardcore audience. And this, along with other things that they've done, like bringing back Killer Instinct and offering more services for gold and not just being a Netflix box, it's really turned around and for the better. And I want to say real quick that EA Origin Access has been put on notice because EA doesn't have a large number of games for that Origin Access, so I have to feel like it's been put on an ultimatum, like when Verizon put out a unlimited plan and just started putting everybody on notice. Sprint was on notice, AT&T and everything. So Sprint really took it in a good way. So I want to see if EA can be like Sprint and kind of offer some additional services as well as, kind of lowering the price a bit.
Yeah, well, also AT&T has that now, but how would I know such things?
How would you know?
I have no idea. But in terms of, Xbox, the other reason why people really didn't get in on Xbox One when it first started is, when you've got a product, of course you're going to have some things that people see as a negative. So what you usually want to do is address the negatives that they perceive and then try to help them better understand why, the features of this product will help them. That's not what Xbox did. They even so far as to say, if you have a problem with the always online functionality, there is a Microsoft product for you. It's called Xbox 360. I kid you not. That's what they said.
They did that. That was not a very smart move, and I think that ultimately cost Don Matrick his job.
That was so condescending.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I remember, if you're trying to get somebody on board with your product and you say something like that, you are basically saying, we don't give a fuck about you, please get out of the way.
Right.
Just a horrible way to be.
That was one of the biggest blunders that I've ever seen in this industry, was to say, well, if you don't want to use the always online feature Xbox One, just get a 360.
Yeah.
What? Come on. How are you gonna set sales for the Xbox One like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what was said. They pretty much said it exactly the way I said. It's like, well, we've got a Microsoft product for you. It's called Xbox 360.
They said it almost exactly like that.
Yeah, they might as well just painted a big middle finger on the goddamn thing while holding it up too. It's just, wow. So that's my Matrick hatred.
But now
Spencer has fixed so many things.
So many.
And
it's been you know, nothing but great things. Like Sony kind of came out and just kind of introduced the PS4 in a big way in 2013,
Right.
revamped PlayStation Plus, put Microsoft on notice, and now Microsoft has the ball back in its court in a big way because now they're offering Game Pass, which is, going direct competition with PlayStation Now. It's already better than PlayStation Now because it offers downloadable games as opposed to streaming the games.
And on top of that, keep in mind that you can Games with Gold is not going away. You're still going to get your 2 free games every month.
Yes, yes.
So that's another really awesome feature that they brought up with everything here. It's just such a good idea that they decided to go with the download and install feature. I know that some people are like, I don't want to wait that long for a game. Well, I understand that, but at the same time, you're going to get a better quality overall because, one, you're not going to have to stream it. And if you're worried about how big the game is, saying, oh my god, it's like, 15 gigs or higher. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you repeatedly stream the game? It's going to screw you. You don't want that to happen.
Right.
I'm on board with it. I think it sounds great. And like I was telling Tanner before we got on here, I'm like, Phil Spencer keeps stealing my wallet. I really wish he would stop doing that.
And I asked him, like, why does he keep stealing your wallet?
I really wish he would just stop putting out these amazing things, and then he steals my wallet. I don't appreciate it.
Well,
all of a sudden he's like,
it's hard to be awesome sometimes.
It is.
It really is.
It is. He just comes by and he's like, hey, have you heard of this new feature we have? It's only $9.99 to get all these games and download and install as many as you want while your subscription is active. And I'm just like, fuck, my wallet vanished. Again, Phil Spencer.
Phil, what have you done? But it's really good to be a Xbox Gold subscriber right now, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better from here on out, I would assume. But right now, we talked about EA a little bit, and I'm wondering now how they're going to respond to it. One of the responses is Peter Moore is going to be leaving EA in June. And for what position, might you ask? Well, he is a big Liverpool football club fan. So he's noted his love multiple times for Liverpool. So he's going to be now taking on the role of CEO for Liverpool Football Club, according to the club's announcement. So right now, Moore, who's been kind of up and down, I want to say, in his tenure with EA. He's had his ups, he's had his downs. It's right now, it's kind of up in the air for EA, like what is going to be the response outside of June. What are they going to do for EA, or not EA, E3?
That is, that's a big question in terms of it. They're losing a large piece of leadership. They just had some major competition come out. We just talked about said major competition.
Yep.
Because Origin Access was their baby for a good while. They released that on PC, did well. They brought it to Xbox One. And in terms of it, while, they've got a good reputation overall, I would say that they haven't had the best of sales I'm aware of. Titanfall 2, while being an amazing game, didn't really do what I was expecting it to do. I thought that it would sell amazing amounts of copies and it would have a thriving online multiplayer and it would just be like the must-have multiplayer experience coming into 2017, and that's not really the case.
But it's not exactly what it was in Titanfall 1.
No, it's nowhere near Titanfall 1 levels because this game is actually good.
Yeah.
But the issue is it just really hasn't caught on. In terms of EA right now, they don't have like any spitting fire products that people are just like, we gotta have it. Mm-hmm. So I would say E3 for them right now is interesting.
But they also have Battlefield 1, so I don't think that they're going to be hurt in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's Battlefield 1, but honestly, that is more of like... The reason why people keep hearing so much about Battlefield 1 is because you can do silly meme stuff with it.
But they released a statement, they being EA, released a statement about Peter Moore leaving for Liverpool Football Club. And they said, quote, "In the weeks to come, Peter will continue to guide EA's competitive gaming division in its mission to make stars of all of our players. Peter has built a fantastic team that is now running dozens of global tournaments and events with millions of players. With more exciting expansion plans on the horizon, Peter will be working with the teams to drive a leadership transition before he returns to the UK in this summer. If you see him around the next couple of months, I hope and trust you will take the opportunity to shake his hand or give him a hug and wish him the very best on this great adventure," close quote. Because it is going to be a great adventure, because Peter Moore has held positions with Sega and Microsoft and EA here where he is currently. He's going to be venturing into mostly uncharted waters for what he's done in his career, but on the same side of that, it's kind of familiar territory with what he's going to be doing with Liverpool. Not much to discuss on that because we're not entirely big soccer people.
Especially me.
Sorry to the UK fans out there, but it's going to be interesting to see how EA is going to rebound from losing Peter Moore and how the transition team really blossoms in this case.
You know, if they need another Peter, I can think of one.
Oh, no.
He's from England, too.
Stop.
It's the perfect fit.
No, it is not. It is, you know this very well. It is not.
The perfect fit, I'm telling you. I can vouch for the man.
Peter Molyneux is not a good fit for EA. Trust me, this is not a good deal.
It's the perfect deal. It's the only deal.
It's not the only deal. You're wrong on that, Patrick.
If they need another
options
Peter
on the table. But
if they need another Peter, I got him.
No, but in all seriousness, EA right now is going to have a little bit of trouble, I think, kind of getting more prominence in the competitive gaming market. But at the same time, they're kind of set right now. They do have the potential to do that because their biggest competitive game, obviously, is going to be FIFA and the worldwide notion that it has. So you build on that. And then you have, Titanfall 2, you need to get that more prominence. You have Battlefield 1, you need to get that more prominence if you want it there. But I don't know if it's hard to compete in the competitive gaming market because you still have League of Legends still running strong after being released in 2009. You have Heroes of the Storm, you have Overwatch, you have CS:GO, you have Hearthstone, which we're going to talk about in here in just a little bit. It's almost oversaturated.
I would say at this point it is. And the only way you could really break into it is if you have something like extremely unique.
And I didn't even mention Call of Duty, which is always going to be on the competitive scene.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. So it's oversaturated in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to break through and get this prominence and notion that you need to, which also brings up a question for Nintendo. How are they going to do that with Splatoon if they want to do that?
Well, that's why I said you have to be extremely unique, and that's what Splatoon is.
But it's not too unique as far as it's still a first person shooter.
Well, it is.
It's obviously more kid friendly with ink instead of bullets, but man, it's going to be hard to get into that competitive gaming scene.
Well, here's the thing. You are going to have some extremely competitive adults with that, but with Splatoon, the reason why I think it'll do fine is exactly what you just said. You're going to have some competitive kids too. You're going to have people, under the age of 18 who are going to be able to do some really competitive stuff, and that's why that game is going to do fine. But overall, yeah, you're right. It's super it's going to sound ridiculous to say this, but it's super competitive in the competitive games market right now.
Well, obviously.
Because there's so many games to play.
Look at the games that we just mentioned, and
yeah,
how many professionals are very good at those games.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you have Hearthstone, you have Overwatch, CS:GO, League of Legends. Those are probably the main 4 games right now.
Yeah, we aren't even talking about the FGC or anything. That's the
Right,
crazy
right.
part. And
That's the crazy.
yeah, you bridge into that, and then the gap gets even bigger in terms of like games that have made it and games that haven't. Because I could start naming off all sorts of different competitive play games that people probably barely even heard of, like
Right.
Lethal League. Lethal League is a good game, but most people haven't heard a blip about it.
Because you have so many other games in the fighting game community, like Pokken Tournament edged by Marvel versus Capcom to get into Evo, and Evo is the biggest fighting game tournament ever.
Oh,
When you
I
have, when you
didn't.
have, when you have games like Marvel not being at Evo, wow, that market itself with the fighting games is starting to get a little intense.
I didn't read about that in terms of like the fan response, so I just wonder, like when that got announced, the Pokken tournament was going to be there, and MVC wasn't. I wonder if the comments just turned into a salt mine at that point.
Well, that's the thing is like they do this charity drive to, see which games can get into Evo in the last slot and all that. While I understand the cause is good, there's going to be salt with uh, people who don't have their game in there.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
that's well, yes, it's a good cause, but it's going about it in the wrong way, I think.
I'm just wondering, like, how much salt are in those salt mines?
There's probably a lot of salt. I mean, this is a fighting game community we're talking about here. There's
Oh.
salt abound. You got
Just
salt the size of the Rocky Mountains.
salt everywhere.
Yeah.
Salt everywhere. Well, you know what, Tanner? I got something to tell you.
What's that?
I'm in charge now.
You're in charge?
I'm in charge now. We're going to talk about Hearthstone, and we're not going to talk about
right.
Patches the Pirate.
No, we're not going to be talking about Patches the Pirate.
Anyone who
So-
understood why I said I'm in charge now, I love you. I think you're fantastic. Never change.
Oh man, but if I could just take the wheel back for a second, if I may.
Okay.
All right. Journey to Ungoro has been announced and is going to be released later this spring, and that's a new expansion coming to Hearthstone as a quest, like a single player quest. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be great because Blizzard has a good track record of being great at what they do, and there's no question about that. The only thing that I have to question about Blizzard, though, as far as Hearthstone goes, is the Blackrock Mountain quest, which was kind of iffy. But regardless of that, let's talk about Journey to Ungoro, because this also introduces a new meta with the Year of the Mammoth being introduced as part of the new standard rotation. So a lot of questions were, abound, like what's going to change about the game, what new sets will we have to do. In my opinion, from what we saw on the cinematic trailer of Journey to Ungoro and the teaser that Blizzard introduced, Priest has a huge update, and it seems overpowered at this point because let's take a look at some of these Priest cards where it also introduces a new meta to Hearthstone, and that's quests. Quests are like secrets. They're played as secrets, but as opposed to like secrets where you don't, like, your opponent doesn't know what you played. Your opponent can see the quest and see what is going on as far as like your strategy goes. So one of the main quests that we saw as far as priests go, and this one is a legendary card. It's Awaken the Makers, and it's a 1-mana card where the quest is to summon 7 Death Rattle minions, and your reward if you do that is to summon Amara, the Warden of Hope, where her card, she's also a legendary for priest, is 5 mana. She deals 8 damage and has 8 health at the base. A lot of people were talking about what would be a good replacement for Reno. This is it seems. And boy, is it's probably Reno 2.0 at this point, because what she does, Amara, the Warden of Hope, is if you play her, does 8/8, has taunt, her battle cry is set your hero's health to 40. which is huge, huge if you're facing against an aggro. Because not only does it give you back your 30 health if you're like low on health, it also gives you an additional 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I think Priest is going to get a major benefit, but we haven't seen obviously the entire set of cards. Right. So who knows like if Hunter is going to get something good because it got nerfed with Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Or at least Mean Streets of Gadgetzan didn't do Hunter any favors.
Not really. There wasn't really anything, worthwhile or anything like that came out of Gadgetzan for Hunter. So that was kind of a kick in the pants. But
I mean, it helped everybody else, especially Druid.
Yeah, yeah, it helped Druid tremendously. Dear God, what it did for Druid. But in terms of Priest, I'm okay with this because the problem with Reno right now, for anybody who plays the game, great. If not, we're about to bore you to tears. The problem with Reno,
intrigue, who knows?
Could intrigue you. You could start playing Hearthstone, and then you won't have to worry about buying drugs ever again.
Sure. You don't have to worry about loot boxes anymore with Overwatch. You can just buy card packs.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
But continue.
With Reno, the issue is you could pretty much fit him with any class and almost any deck as long as you were okay with running singles, which then became a problem because like every deck that wasn't running aggro in like competitive play was singles and you Reno'd and that's what you did. And it infuriates me. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm so sick of seeing it. This means that now I'm going to see it with Priest. I'm okay with that because I know if Priest shows up, there's a very good chance that they could super heal. Okay. It's not like with Warlock where, a few things happen and then all of a sudden you're like, I think I've got this game. And Warlock throws out Reno and you're like, wait, what? Reno?
What?
Oh, and then you're screwed.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, if you know that there's a possibility of Reno in the deck, you don't go ham. Because you're afraid you'll run out of steam, and you play a little more conservatively, and that's how you play a good game. That's a problem because, you play against a Warlock deck, you see a few staple cards, you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about Reno, go ham, and then you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to even that a bit more and make things better there, so I'm all for that. I think that's good.
We'll talk about quests, because this introduces a new multiplayer element where it could either hurt your opponent or it could hurt you in the long run because they might start to get more aggressive because they don't want you to get that reward.
Exactly.
Talk about quests and how that might change up the meta.
Well, you're going to see some really different deck types that are trying to do one specific thing versus some different things you see now. I wouldn't say with Priest that you see a lot of Death Rattle-centric decks, for example. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're going to see a lot of that, or you aren't seeing a lot of that with Priest. Now, with something like Awaken the Makers, I think you likely will, because it's pretty necessary at that point. So that's going to change things. Also, with the new type with, the dinosaurs, it's not Evolve, it's something else. But you might have some different ones that would say, it's Adapt. There we go. Use your dinosaurs.
That's the new element that's also introduced.
Yes. So you might have a quest that requires you to adapt so many creatures. So you're going to specifically run an Adapt deck. So depending on the ability, the quest might start dictating the way players play.
Okay, so let's talk about Adapt for a little bit, and that's one of the new elements that was introduced with Journey to Un'Goro. And let's say, for example, you play a 5-mana Verdant Longneck, and it has 5 damage, 4 health. That's one of the new cards, by the way, for Druid. It's Battlecry's Adapt. So what Adapt does is that it allows you to pick an additional feature for that card,
mm-hmm.
Or for your bench or whatever you want to call it. But there's some cards like Liquid Membrane where it allows that creature to not be targeted by spells or hero powers. or like living spores, where it implements a death rattle, where you get to summon 2/1/1 plants if that beast dies, or crackling shield, which is just adding on a divine shield.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the major things I think that's going to change up the scene a little bit.
Yeah, basically with that, it's RNG is what it is. It's RNG for a creature when you play it. One of three choices. You don't know what the three choices are going to be because obviously RNG, random number generator, and it's interesting because there's some stuff that's rolling out on the Hearthstone subreddit where one dinosaur actually adapts your Murloc.
Ooh.
So you can already see the difference in what they're doing with this new keyword, this new mechanic and adapt, where you can use it on like Murlocs or maybe some other creature types because they are introducing the new elemental type too.
So we might see some more Murloc decks coming about.
Oh, the game's based off of Warcraft. There's always going to be Murlocs. There's always going to be Murlocs.
There hasn't been a lot of Murlocs that I've seen in competitive play, but now we might be able to start seeing some more Murlocs. There are decks based around Murlocs. Only.
Yeah, I would say the last one I saw of that was the Paladin Murloc Winnie deck, where you just go Murloc ham on somebody. Somebody. So. Yeah, that's probably been the last one. So maybe we'll see Murlocs depending on, how well the adapt works for that. But also Elementals.
Yes,
also super interesting.
Yes, Mage got a major card, which we don't know too much into how this changes everything yet, but we know it's going to be pretty damaging if you don't silence it.
Pyros.
Pyros, initially is a 2-mana 2/2 card. It's a legendary, but here's the kicker. It has a death rattle, and if it dies, it returns to the player's hand as a 6/6 that costs 6 mana. But if that 6/6 dies while it has the death rattle, it turns into a 10-mana 10/10 card. So that it's a phoenix that keeps rising from the ashes.
Right.
And it's amazing, and it doesn't go anything past 10/10, so don't worry about that because you can't get more than 10 mana in a game. But it's still, that's a devastating card if it's not silenced.
That plus in terms of it helps with hand tempo and hand advantage because if it dies you're going to make sure your hand's filled up, which also means if you're playing we'll have to see what kind of cards come out of it, but if there are cards that do things depending on the number of cards in hand, that could help as well. And it also means that, like I was saying, you've got the hand tempo. You're never really going to run out of answers on the board if they keep killing your elemental, because it'll come back, it gets bigger, you can play it again. So there's always something on the board that can help you, even if you have to wait until turn 10 to see it one more time. So that's good.
I'm wondering, though, like Journey to Un'Goro, we've only seen cards for Priest, Mage, and Druid right now, and we haven't seen any cards for Shaman. Or
we have
at least any major cards.
Well, okay. With Shaman, they introduced a Volcano, deal 15, randomly split among all minions.
They did do that. The one that deals 15 to all minions.
Overload 2. So, 15 is one hell of a way to wipe the board. So, yeah, it costs 5, which is low for 15 damage, but it could also hit your guys, and it has an overload of 2. So they can't really go insane.
Right now, it just seems like this entire series of cards is almost luck-based, if you will.
A lot of RNG.
I don't know if that's going to essentially help or hurt the competitive scene for Hearthstone because it's all seemingly luck-based from what we've seen. But there's 135 cards in the entire series of cards. So we don't know what we're going to get just yet until everything is released.
I think overall it's going to make things a bit better, especially since the way they're doing it now is there really isn't adventures anymore. They're kind of a hybrid thing where you get an expansion, but there's also some PvE stuff. I don't think they're going to just give you cards anymore. You have to open packs.
Yeah.
Whereas that'll fix the issue where we know basically everybody who can spend the money has Brand Bronzebeard. Everybody who can spend the money has Reno. And, some other staple cards out there. That's been a problem because, everybody's able to Reno you, everybody's running Brand, different things like that. Not everybody's able to throw Kazakus out on you.
Right.
Just for example. So with the new set, that's going to continue to where you could say, maybe this guy has this card that's going to fuck my day. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But
it could introduce more bluffs. It could introduce more bluffs.
Absolutely. Because you don't know who has what card. Because now you can't just throw money out and say, I pay to win, and you get those cards. Mm-hmm. Not to accuse Hearthstone of being a pay-to-win game, but those adventures did cause problems. Broad saw it. That's why Broad ended it.
Mm-hmm. So, man, it's good to get Reno out of there, though. It's been a very major card to kind of deal with, to say the least, is Reno and Brand Bronzebeard. So, goodbye to League of Explorers cards, and hello to Journey of Un'Goro, where anything can happen.
And one more quick fun fact with this, for anybody who got on the card game bandwagon with Hearthstone, if you didn't play the original World of Warcraft card game, quests were part of that too. So Blizzard did not develop that game. They just licensed, the Warcraft name to it. But technically this is not something new for a Warcraft card game. It's just, in my opinion, done a lot better.
Technically.
Yeah, these quests are done better.
Bit better.
Like, go look at some of the old Warcraft card games from card game cards from the mid 2000s, and I think you'll agree that the quests with this game much better so far.
Yeah,
we've only seen one. Man,
it's gonna be interesting when that gets rolled around in the spring. Wow. Because the cards that they introduced, I don't know how it's going to get better than that, but apparently it may.
Honestly, unless something major happens, I'm probably still going to go Shaman.
Yep. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up our podcast with a game that we call Buy, Try, or Die. Before we start it, though, I just want to explain the rules a little bit. It's basically like, we announced some games that are coming up in the week, but we do have a different theme for this week, and I'll announce it after the intro. But we say name of a game, kind of introduce it a little bit. If we like the game and we want it to do well, we go and tell you to buy it. If we're unsure about it, we kind of say we'll try about it. And if we don't want the game to succeed at all and we think it's a pile of garbage, then we let the game die. And every month we get a Y. So we kind of refreshed our status on this. We do get a Y for this month, meaning why bother with it? What's the point of kind of covering it? Anyway, go ahead and hit the intro.
And now it's time to take a look at the week ahead with Buy, Try, or Die.
All right. So, Patrick, are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
I am ready as well. So, the theme we have for this week is going to be the Nintendo Switch, which launches on the 3rd of March. Can you believe it's already going to come out?
It's already here!
It's already here. Golly, who would have thought that, Nintendo was going to come out with a new console already? But after the way they handled Wii U, I guess I don't.
The Wii U knew.
The Wii U knew, and man, I don't know. Let's see what we got for its launch titles. So, 1-2 Switch, which is kind of that cowboy game basically. Buy, Try, or Die.
Die.
You want that game to die?
Oh, what a useless tech demo. I'm sorry.
It isn't packaged with the game. That is true. I feel like it should have been, shouldn't it?
It should have been. It's not. But who would do this? I ask you, who would do this? Do you want to be a cowboy and shoot at each other, or do you want to milk a fucking cow? Is that what you want to do with a new video game console? Because personally, I sure as fuck don't.
I'm gonna say that people who main McCree may want to try this. May want to try it and put their cowboy skills to the pit.
And to flip out they'll just like flip out the Joy-Con and be like, it's high noon.
Exactly. So
Oh my god.
I'll give it a shot.
Oh my god.
I Am Setsuna for the Nintendo Switch. I believe that's a JRPG.
Yes, that is a spiritual. I wouldn't say it's a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger because it doesn't have any of like the characters or anything, but it has like the same gameplay elements and such. That is a buy.
That seems to be a must-buy for people who love JRPGs. So
Yes,
that's up your alley. Definitely go ahead and do that.
yes.
Just Dance 2017. I'm gonna say die.
Die. Light it on fire.
The Just Dance craze is kind of come and gone.
Make it bleed. I mean, yeah, just let it die.
Yeah. Snipper Clips for the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of a puzzle game. Buy, try, or die.
I want to try that. I saw some people on YouTube playing it at the Nintendo deal unveiling whatever it was in New York City, and that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it actually. And you know me, I kind of like puzzles. I'm a bit of a puzzle fanatic, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and buy this one because
Sweet.
it's kind of cute. It's cute. I'll try it out. Well, not try it out. I'm buying it. I'm buying it. That's a definitive statement. I'm buying this game.
He says buy. I say let's try it.
Let's try it. Human Resource Machine, which is a game released previously, I think in 2015, but it's now coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2016. Developer is Tomorrow Corporation, so buy, try, or die.
What the hell is it about?
This is actually the first time I've heard of the game, to be honest. So I don't.
Are you like a
exactly
human
know.
resources manager? Is that the point?
There is approximately 40 programming puzzles, each considered 1 year of the player's avatar tenure in a corporate structure. So it's a puzzle game.
I'll try it if it's a puzzle game.
This one I'm actually going to try because, like I said, I don't know too much about Human Resource Machine, but sounds interesting. It sounds interesting.
It's definitely got my eyebrow raised. That's just strange.
Another one from Tomorrow Corporation, Little Inferno, which was released back in 2012. So this one is another puzzle game, a little bit more sandbox oriented though. Buy, try, or die.
Try it. Sandbox puzzle sounds interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I might as well say try. I'm gonna try this one out too. Because sandbox puzzle, don't know how that's gonna really fare out, but apparently from 2012, might as well give it a shot.
That's the spirit, champ.
Skylanders Imaginators, buy, try, or die.
I'm not big on Skylanders. I would definitely give that a die.
Now, see, I've always kind of been on the back of Skylanders a little bit ever since it was introduced, I think in 2010, and it's always been an interesting franchise, kind of hung around for the longest time. So I will say give it a try. Why not? Then you have The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. This is obviously a buy, Patrick.
Buy.
This is obviously a buy.
Immediate buy.
The Binding of Isaac is one of those staple indie games that you gotta have.
Right. The first Binding of Isaac, the original one, it was pretty rough. That one I didn't like very much. But then when they did Rebirth, fucking great. And yeah. I haven't had a chance to try Afterbirth, but I've heard what they've done with it, and yeah, buy immediately.
Yeah. Super Bomberman R for the Nintendo Switch.
Buy.
Try or die. You're gonna buy that one as well.
Yes, Bomberman's fucking great.
We haven't even gotten to the big game. You're running out of money.
I'll buy it all. I'll take loans out. I'll give
all
plasma.
Right. You know, Bomberman, it's always a staple game. Oh, it's not a staple game, but it's always an intriguing game to get. So I might as well give it a try. I'm gonna give Bomberman R a try. Super
there
Bomberman R. The World of Goo, which was a game back for the Wii. This is a bit of a surprising one. I'm gonna buy it, but I don't know how much improvement graphically speaking we're gonna get from the Nintendo Switch.
No, that's a try for me. I'm not super excited because again, it's old software just ported to a new system. I'm not all that excited.
And finally, we have some game. I don't know what it's called. It's The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It's for Wii U and Nintendo Switch. Patrick, what are you gonna say about this game that I've never heard of ever?
Bye!
Well, of course, yeah. We're gonna. No, you know what? I'm gonna say why. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, this game is a buy. It's a must buy. It's one of the main reasons why you're probably going to get a Switch, and it looks breathtaking. EGM gave it a 10, and EGM does not give games 10 very often.
As they should. I mean, like, everything I have seen about this game says it's just great. Like, you can fight skeleton enemies and take their arms off, and then pick their arms up and use it against them. What more could you ask for?
This is like Grand Theft Auto, except like it's in a more ancient time, and it's not as, you know, I don't want to say violent because obviously the game is violent,
Yeah.
but it's less based around hookers.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a very good way to put it.
It's obviously, you know, a very open-based sandbox adventure game. And if you haven't heard of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild at this point, and you're buying a Nintendo Switch, what's wrong with you? Because I don't know why you wouldn't want to get the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
while you're
like,
also getting a Nintendo Switch.
Like-
Unless you're thinking about getting like Mario Kart on the side, I don't know.
like if I see somebody that's like at the store and they're buying a Nintendo Switch and they're not buying Breath of the Wild and they're buying like 1-2 Switch or something, I am gonna go pee on your car door. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna take their brand new Nintendo Switch and you're just gonna throw it on the ground.
I am.
You're gonna be the Lonely Island of this.
That's what I am. Yeah. And then like after I smash it
took
on the
your
ground,
Switch and threw it on the ground.
I'm gonna throw it on the ground. I'm gonna jump on it and I'm gonna stand there and be like, yeah, it's what you get.
And then you go to jail.
Yeah.
But that has been Buy, Try, or Die for the Nintendo Switch, which launches again on March 3rd. A lot of interesting stuff for a launch title. A lot of interesting stuff coming for the Nintendo Switch. And that's, like I said, just the launch.
Oh yeah. Even if you want to wait and say you don't want to get a Switch yet and you're just going to get Breath of the Wild on Wii U, because it's supposed to play the same, just graphical difference, you at least have to get it by summer because Splatoon 2.
Oh, yes.
And if you aren't getting it by summer because of Splatoon 2, I have a tip. So pay close attention because this is going to be a good life hack for you. I want you to go in the kitchen. I want you to light a match. And I want you to burn your kitchen down with you in it. There you go. Life hack.
Wow. This is fine. So
This is fine.
I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. But anyway, this has been Super Reset Brothers for March 3rd of 2016. Go out and buy a Switch if you don't have one already.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. That's your assignment for the week.
That's your assignment for this week. When we come back, I expect everyone to have a Nintendo Switch and to get A+. Well, you get an A+ if you have Breath of the Wild as well. If you buy a Switch, you get a C. Automatic C for the class.
There you
But
go.
if you just buy 1-2 Switch, you're gonna get an F.
Yeah.
So that's it. We'll see you next time.
Bye. You didn't do the normal outro thing. You didn't do it.
And that's gonna be part of the ending. He didn't do the outro thing.
You didn't do the outro thing. I've got
What
you.
outro thing?
I've
What
got
outro
you.
thing?
Because it's the same way we open the podcast. I got this. That's the end of the podcast.
I didn't do anything like that in the past.
Something,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mulan.
What?
I'm out of here. I quit.
All right.
I quit. I can't believe you don't know the songs from Mulan. I mean, if you don't know the songs from Mulan, how could you know anything in
When was
life?
the last time I watched Mulan?
Do you even know how to tie your shoes?
Yes.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
All right.
I think this is going on the end of the show, isn't it?
Almost.
Perfect.
Almost. But